Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this training on Get Started with Microsoft Teams. We're going to get started in just about a minute, so stay tuned.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Jenna Schwinnard, Marketing Executive from PCA Technology Group, and I'll be your host for this event. Before I hand it over to our speaker today, I want to thank you in advance for joining us. For those here that might not be familiar with PCA, we are a managed IT service provider in Buffalo, New York, guiding organizations to succeed with technology, which is exactly why we've launched PCA University and are teaming up with Microsoft to provide these complimentary trainings so you can get the most out of your tools. This is our very first session, one of 4 for the remainder of the year, and it's titled Back to School with Microsoft Teams, the top 5 features to help you collaborate. So please don't hesitate to submit any questions you have in the chat window as we go through this presentation, and we'll make sure to share the recording with you once we conclude. But with that being said, it's a pleasure to introduce Roxana from Microsoft.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this training on Get Started with Microsoft Teams. We're so happy to have you here today. So just as a reminder, we are recording this session, and this training will be available on demand for the next 90 days. If for some reason you are unable to listen to the audio or video, then you are able to just log out and rejoin with the same link that you registered with. So today you are inside a Microsoft Teams live event. And the first thing that you'll notice is that your camera and microphone have been disabled. And this is because we're going to be using the chat feature. But you do have availability to communicate with us and get your questions to us. So the first thing that you will notice is that towards the bottom of your screen, you have several controls which are available to you. On the left-hand bottom side, there is the play or pause button, and this is where you are able to put me on pause if for some reason you should need to step away, and then resume the session at your convenience. Next to this button, you have the function for changing the volume, and over towards the right of the screen, you have the closed captions button so that you can toggle it on or off, as well as the settings gear so that you can adjust the captions and video quality. And to the very far right bottom of your screen, you have the option to toggle to go to full screen. Now, in order to view the Q&A panel, you will see a button in the upper right-hand corner of your screen where you are able to show or hide this Q&A panel. Inside the panel, you have the Featured and My Questions tab. Featured is where our moderators will be able to answer any questions any announcements which we have, and My Questions will be where you will see the questions and any responses to your questions. Now, towards the bottom of your screen, you have the option to add your name or nickname or any name which you would prefer. This helps us keep the questions and the responses nice and threaded, as sometimes if we have a lot of questions, we just want to make sure that we are replying to your question. You are, however, also able to post anonymously. Just type your question into the field and click on the paper airplane to send it on its way. So for today's agenda, we're going to learn how to navigate Microsoft Teams, send a chat message, understand Teams and channels, create and join a meeting, and locate files in Teams. So my name is Roxana, and I'm going to be your trainer for today. I'm a senior training associate, and I have 22 years of experience in the education field and also lesson planning and curriculum. Alongside of me, I have my good friend and associate, Katie, and she is a training associate, 9-year Microsoft employee, very knowledgeable. Please make sure that you throw any questions at her. As you can see, she's certified in Microsoft 365 fundamentals and is a wealth of knowledge. So today we're going to be learning how to work through Microsoft Teams. As we work through the times of change, it becomes clear that our technology solutions must keep up with the times as well. We thrive in hybrid work when we can easily connect, collaborate, and stay in the flow of work with full context. Microsoft Teams is a flexible digital workspace that brings together people and their data, apps, and features all in one place so that everyone can achieve more together. You're able to connect naturally through chat, call, and share video from one place. You're able to collaborate your way by creating, sharing, and exchanging ideas with shared documents and content, and are also able to stay in the flow by staying focused and organized with all the apps and features you need at your fingertips. So what is Microsoft Teams? Microsoft Teams is the all-in-one app for working together. So as you think about what you do at work on a day-to-day basis, you talk with your coworkers, go to meetings, place calls, and work on documents. Maybe you also write reports, work on budgets, analyze data, manage projects, and design publications. As part of a business unit and various work groups, you're reviewing announcements and updates that are part of a whole team. So Microsoft Teams is part of Microsoft 365, and it is designed to be your central access to communication and collaboration. You can connect with people inside or outside of your network through chats, calls, meetings, screen sharing. You can collaborate on files, and you can easily access your favorite tools and services. Also, you can streamline project management and work group collaboration. So the top five things to know to get started is that after today's session, you will be able to communicate with your coworkers, save time while working and collaborating in teams, and see how teamwork and projects can be managed in a central space. You will learn the top 5 things to do to get started with Microsoft Teams. We'll go over setting up your profile, setting a chat, scheduling and joining a meeting, using Teams and channels, and finding your files. So now we have come to the demonstration part of our session. So allow me to switch gears and go to my desktop, and just one moment while I get this all set up. All right. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is going to Microsoft Teams. Now you have 2 options. You are able to go to your browser of preference, and launching the browser, the first thing that you're going to do is be going up to your address bar at the very top and typing office.com. This will bring you to the landing page of office.com. And on the left-hand side, you'll see your rail with all your apps. Now, if you go to the very top, you will find your app launcher. Many people call it a waffle, but I will click on the app launcher, and I should be able to find Teams in my apps. If you do not see it, that's okay. You are able to navigate towards the middle of the screen where it says all apps, and by clicking on this, it will open up all the apps which are available to you. They are listed in alphabetical order, and you can launch Teams from here. Now, I will say that Teams gives a much more robust experience in the desktop app. So although I have launched it here in the browser, I will be closing this out. And I'm just going to let it load so that you're able to see it. And so this is my Teams experience. It looks very similar to how it is, but as I mentioned, it is a little bit more robust on the desktop app. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out and launch it from my taskbar. You are also able to click on your start button and launch it from there. So I'll click on my Teams app, and it has launched it. So now we're going to be going through and getting familiar with our Teams window environment. At the very top, we have our horizontal menu bar. In the center of our screen, we have our main content area, and along the left, we have our vertical toolbar. Now, on the horizontal menu bar, this is at the top of your screen, and this is where your profile is. I'm going to go ahead and click on my profile picture. And as I did mention, my name is Roxana, but I am logged in today as Megan Bowen. Megan Bowen is a fictitious account used for demonstration purposes. So everything that you see in this demonstration does not have any confidential information to it. Megan Bowen works at Contoso, and so I just wanted to point that out as we go through our training. So by clicking on your profile picture, this is where you're able to adjust your picture and change it. Teams uses your digital identity within Microsoft 365. So this is where it's drawing the picture from. If you want to change it, just click on the camera and you're able to do so from there. Now, you also are able to adjust your presence. So as you can see right now, I am set as Do Not Disturb, but by clicking on the pull down menu next to this, I'm able to change my presence. So if I'm, for example, available or busy or Do Not Disturb, I'm able to do that from here. I'm able to change the duration of time that I will be unavailable. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it to Do Not Disturb. And to the right of this Do Not Disturb button, I'm able to set a status message. So let's suppose I'm unavailable until the end of this training. So the time is 10 o'clock, 10:12. We'll go ahead and say, I will return to my office at 11 a.m. There we go. And now as I navigate down towards the bottom, I have a choice to show this message whenever people message me and clear the status message after 1 hour, let's say. So now I don't have to do anything. My presence will change according to my schedule. And all I need to do is just hit done. And now anytime anybody sends me a message, it says your status message is showing in chat and channels when people mention you until 11:12. So that's just one way to be able to manage your presence. Give me 1 second here. Now towards the top right-hand side, towards the top of the right hand of the window, sorry, I apologize. I have the ellipses. And the ellipses are 3 little dots, and when I click on them, they will show me more options. This is where the settings for Teams is going to be located. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and a new window is going to pop up. So now I have many settings. We won't have time to go over all of these, but I did want to point out several that may be that are common and will be useful for you. So we have our theme where we're able to change our theme. Some people prefer the dark theme. Other people prefer the high contrast. This is one of the accessibility features. I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the default theme. You are also able to change the chat density. So right now I have it on comfy, but if I wanted to set it on compact, I'm able to do that and it will change the density of my chat. Now, along the left-hand side, I also have other settings which I can adjust. One of them being my notifications. We'll take a look at that in a little bit, as well as devices. And this is something I really like to point out during the sessions. Since many of us are working remotely or may have multiple monitors at home, you are able to adjust your settings for Teams from here and according to your needs. So, but I do encourage you to go in there and check out all of these notifications so that you are able to adjust the settings in, for example, email notifications, appearance and sound, Teams and channels, chat, meetings and calls, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And now that we have taken a look at parts of the horizontal toolbar, I'm going to go ahead and feature the search bar. Now in this search bar, It is exactly that. This is where you're able to search messages and files or for people. And it's telling me here messages, files, or more. Now it's also prompting me to say, okay, for a list of commands, I'm able to type a /. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And now I have a list of prompts of things that I can do that are automatic. So if I wanted to set my status to away or available, I'm able to do so like so. Now I'm going to go ahead and start looking for a document. The document that I'm going to be searching for is agenda. So I wanted to feature on how this looks like when searching for specifics. Now, as you'll notice, I have a tab line for search, and it is prompting me that for the agenda, I am able to see everything which pertains to the agenda, or I'm able to see messages, perhaps people. That would be silly because there's nobody named agenda, but if there was a person named agenda, it would appear here. And then files. I'm able to see all the files which have been shared with me or I have under here. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to messages, and I'm able to see in the messages the types from, date, at mentions, has attachment, and hide apps and bops. I have different options. If I go to the very top, I have my top results for agenda, but if I scroll down, I also have the option to see all results and see more results even from there. So I'm just going to go ahead and feature the very first one that came up. This was on the 24th of June. And as I navigate over to the right-hand side, if I click on Go to Message, it is going to take me to the message which contains the word agenda. If I wanted to return to my previous screen, it works just like a browser, and you are able to hit back and hit back, and it'll take me through the different screens in order until I return to my main screen. So just like a browser, you're able to go back and forward without creating a new search. So now I'll go ahead and cover the, go through the settings for the left rail or the different applications, excuse me. Towards the top, I have my activity feature, and this is where I will see my feed, any mentions, replies, or other notifications from here. If I wanted to see my activity, I'm able to do so from here as well. So I'm going to switch it back to my activity and to my feed. And if I wanted to see my feed, it will feature my messages here that the newest notifications, let's say. I'm able to filter through those. And if I click on the ellipses, which the ellipses is always going to give us additional options, I can see which are the at mentions, replies, and so forth. Now I'm going to go ahead and click out of this. And you'll notice that when I clicked out of it, to the right-hand side, I do have that gear. So this gear is going to go ahead and take me back to the settings panel. Only this time, instead of defaulting me to the general tab, it's taking me to the notifications tab where I'm able to adjust the settings. So what you'll find is that within Teams, there are multiple places to do the same task. So you can access your settings from your activity feed or from the ellipses within the horizontal menu bar. So we're going to go ahead and go over the chat feature. And this is the second app which will be in your left rail. As you can see, my chat has a number 1, and that is telling me that I have one unread message. So it is notifying me, and I can immediately identify my unread message. As I look at this message and hover over it, I'm able to see who is all part of this message. And as I navigate over to the right, there's a little button that will pop out the chat, as well as the ellipses, which gives me more options. Now, as I click on those options, I can see that I'm able to pop out the chat. This is the icon for popping out the chat. I'm able to mark it as read and pin, mute, hide, manage apps, or leave the conversation entirely. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out here is that when you do have a chat inside of the chat, or how can I say this? Once you have a conversation in the chat, it will remain there. It does not delete. So you are unable to delete it. If you notice, there's no feature for deleting a chat. You are, however, able to leave. So I'm not going to leave this particular conversation. I will do that in a moment. But what I am going to do is I'm going to pin it. So if you notice on the left-hand side, I have my pinned chats and I have my recent chats. So by pinning it, it is now going to pin it along the very top. So I'll go ahead and do that. And now this chat has been pinned to the top. So this is really convenient for any types of chats that maybe I need to be following up on or really important. I personally have a lot of chats pinned. You are able to pin up to 15 chats, and we'll go a little bit deeper into customizing your chats. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and read this particular chat. And when I click away from it, it should now mark it as read. There we go. Now in this chat, I'm able to see at the very top of this chat window, I'm able to see the different members who are part of this chat. I'm able to edit and rename the group chat. So let's say that we have many members to this chat, but I know the purpose of this particular group. Let's just suppose that this is an offsite meeting planning, offsite meeting planning. We are able to go ahead and give that group a name. There we go, and save. So now instead of seeing the individual members' names, now I have designated a title to my chat, and this might make it really easy for me to identify which chat I'm using and what is the purpose. Now we are able to see that we have some tabs in this tab line, and the first one being chat and the second one being files. Now, before I click on files, I wanted to point out that in the chat, I can see that I sent a note, a quick note document on the right-hand side. It is marked as important and or urgent. It's marked as urgent, and we'll go into that a little bit later. So now when I go into my files, I will see this quick note file within my files. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And you will notice that this file is now being saved for easy storage. So even if a file was shared with you months and months ago, you do not need to go scrolling and scrolling through the entire chat to locate this file. You are able to go to your Files tab and locate it from there. Now, this plus sign is going to add a tab. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you are able to add different types of files. We have many, many apps. It varies according to organization. So let's suppose that I wanted to add a whiteboard or a OneNote, or perhaps even a website. I'm able to do so from here. Let's go ahead and add a website, and it is going to prompt me to add a tab of a website. So let me go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and app Bing browser, Bing. Or Edge browser. And we're going to go ahead and add Bing. And it is asking me to enter the proper URL, so I need to go https://. And now it should give it to me. Okay, no. All right. Make sure that you are starting. I did do that. https, maybe it was a typo. There we go. I think it was a typo. Apologize for that. So now that we have typed in our URL, we'll go ahead and save it, and it will post to the chat if I so desire. So I will go ahead and click save. And now you'll notice at the top in my tab line my Edge browser is now showing up as a tab, as well as the files, and I still have the option to add further tabs. Now, let's suppose that this particular meeting, and let me go ahead and select a different one. Let's go ahead and suppose that this planning committee meeting is not sufficient. We're going to be needing to discuss further about different meetings. If I go over to the right-hand side, I'm able to turn this conversation into a call. So maybe I should go into, let's see. I'm trying to locate another one. All right, this one looks a little bit better. So now this conversation, we've been discussing a little bit, we're able to rename it, but now we've decided that having this chat is not going to be sufficient for our discussions. If we are chatting in that moment, we are able to go ahead and turn this conversation into an audio call. So that's something new, something cool that you don't have to go into the calendar and schedule a whole meeting. You're able to do so just from here. You are able to share your screen as well. And to the very far right-hand side at the top, you are able to add additional members. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And it is giving me the option to add people or to leave the group. So I'll go ahead and add one more person. And let's go ahead and say, I wonder if Nestor's part of this group. All right, so we are able to include the chat history so that Nestor can see all the conversations that were occurring. We're able to not include the chat history or include the chat history from the past number of days. We'll go ahead and say the past 100 days and add. And so now we have 7 members. And again, the pop-out chat. So many features within the chat feature. I'm going to go ahead and navigate down towards the bottom of my screen to where we actually are sending the messages. So I'm going to go ahead and type into the field for typing a new message at the bottom of the screen. As you'll notice, underneath this field, we have many different options, and I encourage you to go ahead and explore them all. But the very first one is going to be your formatting option, which you may be familiar with, of having the bold, italic, underline, and so on that you would find within Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. So many opportunities to format the text according to your needs. So I'll go ahead and say, let's schedule a meeting for tomorrow. Great. Now I want to make it perhaps bold. I want to make it a little larger. I'm able to do so, as well as I'm able to send a link to this for this particular meeting. So let me go ahead and hit enter, and I'll go ahead and type a link by clicking on this. It kind of looks like a paper clip. And now it's asking me text to display. We'll go ahead and say Bing and address https://www.bing.com and insert. And so now it's giving me the text so that I can click on it and go to Bing itself. I do have the option to make this an important or an urgent message by clicking on the exclamation mark underneath this chat box. So if you do select urgent, as was the other message, the recipients will be notified for every 2 minutes for 20 minutes. If people are in the meeting, in a different meeting or something, it will continue to notify them it's urgent. So I would say use this if you know that it's truly urgent. Otherwise, maybe you just want to mark it as important. So this is how it would look like it's important, and this is how it will look as urgent. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at important. I'm also able to add attachments. So just briefly click on that, and I'm able to upload it from OneDrive or from my computer. Now we have other features depending on your organization. They may or may not be available to you, which are inserting a GIF, inserting a little emoji, and so on. So I'm pretty happy the way this is looking. I'm going to go ahead and click the paper airplane and send it. So now let's go ahead and take a look at one of the chats. As I mentioned, the chats are persistent. You are not able to delete them. However, if I navigate over to the right-hand side, I can see the messages that I have sent. They're marked in blue, and they do not have a name because those are my chats. On the left-hand side, you can see that Diego, Lynn, and other people have sent chats as well. So I'm going to go to my chat, and let's just suppose I did want to delete this one. I have the option to react to my own chat, or by clicking on the more options, ellipses, I am able to go ahead and delete my chat. So let's suppose that I accidentally got into the wrong chat, sent a message. Oops, I didn't mean to send it to that group. I meant to send it to another group. I can just click on delete and the message has been deleted. If you did that by accident, you are also able to undo this option. So now I'll go over to Lynn Robbins' chat and message on the left-hand side. And as I hover over it, I have the option to go ahead and react to this. So I'm going to go ahead and give her a thumbs up. Perhaps on the ellipses, there are more options. I'm able to do immersive reader. This is a really cool feature for that is one of the accessibility features in Microsoft, which is available in all of our apps such as Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. And if you want to learn more about these kind of features, we do offer trainings in this as well. You're able to save this message, create new polls, and so on. There's so many features that I encourage you to explore all of them. So I'm just going to point out this one, save this message. So I'll go ahead and click on save this message. And if I navigate to the very top to the ellipses by clicking on it, I'm able to, when I go to my profile, I'm able to go to any saved messages by clicking on my profile picture and going to saved. Now I'm able to see the saved messages. So just a cool little feature that I wanted to point out while we were here. So we have now gone over our activity profile and chat features. So before I move on, I wanted to see if I have any questions.
Hi, Roxana. We are currently all good on questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on. Oh, I forgot to actually mention one more thing, and it's not really a big deal, but let's suppose that you wanted to reorganize your pinned messages. You are able to click on one of the messages and put them in order of your preference. You are not able to do this with your regular chat messages because they are coming in order from the most recent at the very top to the oldest at the bottom. But as I did mention, you are able to go ahead and hide a chat. I'll go ahead and click on hide. And as you can see, Alex's chat is no longer in my list. Now I'll go ahead and type new chat. And if I go to Alex and I put him, then I'm able to see any history of the previous chats. And I have the history of our chat. So just because you hide it doesn't mean it's completely gone. So I'll go ahead and say, can we follow up on this soon, please? All right, there we go. So now we have Alex's message back at the top as being the most recent. As you can see, I'm able to see his presence by looking on the little circle next to his profile picture. So I don't see anyone who is online. Patty's offline, Adele is offline. So you'll be able to notice whose presence, what the presence is for each individual person, such as mine. So now we're going to go ahead and navigate over to the Teams portion. The Teams, it looks like a little icon of people huddled together. And I'll go ahead and click on this. Now inside Teams, we're going to go over an overview of the Teams. As you're able to notice in the when I clicked on Teams, it opened up a navigation pane right here between my main content area and my left rail. Now I have the same sections of pinned and my teams. So I'm going to go ahead and click on pinned. And you'll notice that it says General Contoso. So we're going to cover what you can pin and what you're not able to. So as you can see, I am a member of many, many teams. And under the team Contoso, I have a general channel. All of the teams have general channels by default. So you are able to pin a channel. You are not able to pin a team. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate this. If I click on the Contoso team and go to the ellipses, it is not giving me the feature to pin this team. I can manage the team, add a channel, members, leave the team, edit the team, and so forth. But I am not able to pin that. On the other hand, when I hover over the general ellipses, I can see the feature to unpin. So you are able to pin channels. You are not able to pin a team. Now you'll notice that under my Contoso team, I have several channels: the general channel, the HR channel, and planning committee. In the HR channel, I have like a little lockbox, and this is because this channel is going to be private. So I'll go ahead and take a look at my general channel. And the way to think of teams and channels is that the team is more like a house, and the channels are the different rooms. So if you think about an office, you might have a space for, the coffee break room. You might have another space for a conference area, and you might have other areas where it's going to be an auditorium. So it's kind of similar here. So the general is where the general conversations might happen. This is an HR. It's going to be a select group of people, and you have your planning committee, and that's where those conversations will take place. So we'll go ahead and go to our Contoso team and take a look at how we can add a channel. So this is a team which I own. So I'll go ahead and add a channel. And I'm going to title my channel, let's just say that this is going to be a marketing team. Marketing team. Or let's say marketing rollout. That sounds a little bit better. Oops. Marketing rollout. So now I'm able to give a description, and the privacy would be for everyone that on the team has access, or I can have only specific teammates to have access. You are able to share, and this will share across the organization or other organizations who have access. So several options from here. I'm going to go ahead and leave it to everyone in the team has access. And you're able to automatically show this channel and everybody's channels list and click Add. And now you'll see the list of my channels in alphabetical order, and now I have a channel called Marketing Rollout. So within the general channel, the HR channel, you'll notice that I have a tab line on the right-hand side of this of my pane of my main content area. So I'll go ahead and point out that as we go through the team in the general channel, I have several tabs. So it works the same as the chat feature, that you are able to add additional tabs for this. You are able to manage your membership. And again, if you need to meet, you have that call function as well. You are able to schedule a meeting directly from right here and begin additional conversations. We have the ellipses over way on the right-hand side, and you can manage your notifications. You are able to manage the channel and so forth. So as I mentioned, many ways of reaching the same destination. So now we're going to go ahead and go to our new marketing rollout channel, and we're going to initiate a conversation right here. We're going to navigate to the very bottom where it says new conversation. And by clicking on it, it is giving me a field which looks a lot the same as it did within the chat. There are a few differences, however, so I'll go ahead and navigate to the A with the little formatting so that I can format. And now you'll notice that in addition to my bold and attachment link and so forth, I'm able to have a new conversation or an announcement. I'll go ahead and click announcement. And now it opens up additional features. So I'm going to go ahead and type in a headline as it's prompting me, and we'll just say, welcome to the marketing rollout discussions. There we go. Now you'll notice on the right-hand side of this headline, I have the option to change the color. So let's suppose that I wanted a nice teal. I like the teal color. I'll go ahead and click on the picture, and I may not have the option to add a background, but it should auto-populate with different images, or I'm able to upload an image if I so desire, and it's giving me the dimensions of the image. So I'll go ahead and click out of this by canceling. And I have the very similar functions as well on the bottom to go ahead and make attachments and so on. So I'll go ahead and click on the paper airplane and send it on its way. Oh, I need to type a message. Whoops. Say, welcome new members. There we go. And add a subheading, just welcome. All right, now we're able to send it. We are able to also go ahead and say everyone is able to reply, or only myself and the moderators can reply. So if you do have a channel where you only want certain people to be replying so that they're not using it, you're able to do that. You're able to post this in multiple channels. So let's go ahead and click on that. And you can select the channels that you're going to be posting it to by navigating over to the right-hand side underneath the garbage pail, which you would be able to delete this particular announcement, and select the channels that you would like it to be posted to just by clicking on the check boxes on the right-hand side. So you don't have to go into multiple teams to make the same announcement. So I'll go ahead and click on the paper airplane now and send it on its way. And now we have gone ahead and sent our first announcement. I'm going to go ahead and select a different team channel. So let me go into the general. What I'm looking for is to see if somebody has replied. There we go. All right, so under this recruitment, under the HR leadership team, I see it has been very active. And as I'm looking at the activity here, I can see who is actually posting. I'm able to see the text that is being posted upon. And more importantly, I see a reply feature underneath each message. Now, this is important because it helps us keep it nice and threaded. So maybe you noticed when I was doing the introduction, I asked you to present a name so that we can keep our text nice and threaded. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that by clicking on reply. And now I'm going to be replying to this particular message. And Diego will get an activity notification at the very top to about this conversation. So I'll go ahead and just type in, can't wait to review the list, because he's talking about a job listing. Can't wait to review the, oops, I can't type, the list. All right, put a period and go ahead and send it on its way. And now I can see there is one new reply to this message, and I'm able to see that there are 3 replies from Lydia, Diego, and Lee. So if I click on this, it will expand it, and now I'm able to see all of the replies which are pertaining to this particular message, and they're all nicely threaded together so that we can see the flow of this particular conversation. So this differs than in chat, where the chats just are in order, chronological time order. But here, as you're making announcements, new conversations, you are able to keep all those conversations nice and threaded so that you're able to follow along and see what the replies are for each conversation. So now I'm going to go ahead and navigate towards the bottom of my screen, and I'm going to go to join or create a team. And this is where you're able to join or create a team by clicking on it, and you're able to create a team or join with a code. If somebody sends you a code, you type in the code and you're able to do that from there. Now over on the right hand side, you have a cogwheel, and by clicking on the cogwheel, you will see the teams which you are a member of, as well as your membership within those teams. So as you can see, I am a member of many teams. I am also the owner of many of the teams. You're able to see how many people are in each team and the kind of team that it is. So here's a private team. This one is going to be an organizational wide team, and this one's going to be a public team where anybody can join. So different kinds of teams, different kinds of memberships. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about teams and channels, we do offer those courses, and just inquire about it, and we will be happy to get those out to you. Now, also, I'll go ahead to go to the ellipses. And as you can see, multiple places to get to the same destination. We're able to manage our teams or delete the team entirely since we are an owner of this particular team. I'll go ahead and go back to the general channel of this one, and you'll notice along the top we have different tabs. So you're able to customize each team and the tab line as you so desire at the very top. And by doing this, you will notice that we have the Posts tab. We have the Files tab. We also have a Wiki tab, and these are created by default. So Wiki is where you're able to add notes and so on. And it will give you a space to add some notes. The Files, again, any files which were shared under this team would be located here, as well as the option to upload different files or add a new document. And you can do that straight from right here in Teams. You're able to synchronize and work on the file together. You're able to share it, view all of your documents, and filter them out. So I'm going to go ahead and stop right here and see if I have any questions, because we are coming up close on time and I want to make sure I have time to address them.
Hi, Roxana. We are still all good on questions.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Katie. All right, we're going to go ahead and navigate towards the bottom and click on, well, before we go into that, sorry, I was thinking about something. Now we want to go ahead and create a meeting for the general channel. So by clicking on the Meet button at the very top, next to it, there is a pull down arrow. And now I'm able to schedule a meeting for everyone who is a member of this Contoso for this Contoso team. So go ahead and click Schedule a Meeting. And now it's bringing me into the scheduling meeting portion, which is where you would also be able to do the same thing from calendar. So we're just going to go ahead and schedule 2 meetings and click on a general meeting. Let's see, a welcome meeting. And we are able to also see that all the members of the Contoso team are going to be part of this meeting. I'm able to add additional attendees, so sometimes you have other people outside of your organization, you are able to add them as well in this tab. So let's suppose that I wanted to add Miriam. There we go. We'll go ahead and invite her. So now we have everyone who is part of the Contoso, as well as Miriam. Now we do have a scheduling assistant, so if I didn't know really when everyone was going to be available, I can go to my scheduling assistant in my tab line at the very top. And now it is going to show me who the members of this team, the members that I'm inviting, and make adjustments for the day that I prefer to schedule this meeting. So I'll go ahead and schedule this for 8 a.m. on Thursday. Let's go ahead there. Scroll over. And I think that looks like a good time to schedule this meeting. I'll go ahead and go back to details because I have not provided any details for my meeting. Right now, it's just called new meeting. So we're going to put welcome meeting. Okay, now we have that. Maybe it just didn't register it. And maybe adding any details to the meeting. We're just going to type in welcome, as well as add a location and format. We're able to select if we want this to be a repeating meeting. Maybe this is going to be a yearly, daily, so forth, and we'll go ahead and send. So now we have a welcome meeting, which has been set. And if I navigate over to my calendar, I will go ahead and see this meeting for 8 o'clock in the morning for tomorrow. And there it is. So if I click on this, right click on this particular meeting, I have a few options already available to me. Now, the date for this meeting is going to be tomorrow, so I'm able to go ahead and chat with participants. And when I click on this, it's going to open up a chat. I'm able to join online or make any edits from here. So let's go ahead and click on that and let's join this meeting. This is what it's going to look like. You're able to adjust your settings and join now. Now, on the very top in your tab line, you can see the people or the chat, which is part of this meeting, additional reactions, and more. So you're able to adjust your settings, you're able to see the meeting options and so forth. I encourage you to look at all of these features, as well as you are able to share. Now, share is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm sharing my screen. And so, but you are also able to share, for example, a Microsoft Whiteboard, or just share a document that's on your browser, in your computer or OneDrive. And another important feature is to include computer sound if you do share your sound. I'm going to go ahead and close this out and leave this meeting or end the meeting. I know that in a school setting, it was very important when I was a teacher online to end the meeting so that nobody would stay in the meeting. So I'll go ahead and end that meeting. And I'm able to rate it and dismiss. All right. So let me go ahead and we'll look at one more function. Let's take a look at this particular meeting right here. And by clicking on it, maybe, let me see if this one. Okay, let me take a look at this. Now, by right-clicking on my meeting, you'll notice how my meetings at the top have different colors. That's because I like to categorize my meetings. So I'll go ahead and right-click on this one, and I'm able to categorize it and show it as a different color. So I'll go ahead and put it in the yellow category. And now I'm able to identify the meetings according to the categorization that I prefer. So just some cool features. You are able to, now that we are inside the calendar, you're able to join a meeting with an ID. You're able to meet now, create a new meeting, or on the pull down tab, schedule a meeting, webinar, or live event. So multiple ways to get to the same destination. So now that we are almost at the end of our meeting, of our training, I'm going to just go ahead and close out with a few last features. I'll click on Files. And this is where you're going to see your most recent files and the date that they were modified and where they are located. So if you don't exactly remember which file was where, you're able to come and look at it or see your OneDrive storage, any files that were shared in Teams, or perhaps even downloaded files. By clicking on the ellipses in the left rail, you are also able to add apps, just like you were able to add an app in the tab line at the top in a chat, as well as a channel. Towards the very bottom of your screen, you have the apps, as well as the help feature. I encourage you to take a look at the help feature. We offer many topics, trainings, and so forth. You're even able to give feedback for different features. If you think of something that is functioning really great or is not functioning as great as you would like it to, you're able to provide Microsoft with that kind of feedback. So before we wrap up this session, I wanted to see if we had any questions as we wrap up.
So we did have one question come in, and I did answer it in the
Okay.
Q&A, but I just thought maybe this might be good to say over the stream. So it was, does the Teams calendar include all of the meetings in my Outlook calendar? And yes, those two calendars are synced up. So
Okay,
but
yeah.
that was the only question.
Yeah, if I neglected to say that, I apologize, but yes, Microsoft Outlook syncs with Teams beautifully. So your presence that's in Outlook is going to be in Teams and vice versa. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and click on this. So now that we have concluded our training, today we covered on we learned how to navigate through Microsoft Teams, how to send a chat message, understand Teams and channels, create and join a meeting, and locate files within Teams. So Katie will be sending a survey in the chat, and the survey is a short 6 questions. And the questions for 1 through 3 is really, how did I perform as a presenter? Now, the content is pretty standard across Microsoft, so it's more of my delivery of the content. And if you feel like you learned something that you were able to walk away from, we do appreciate those 9s and 10s. 4 through 6 is really more of letting us know what was most valuable to you, what was least valuable to you, and what information would you like to share about our training session. So we thank you for joining us, and I will hand it back over to, let's see, I apologize. I will go ahead and hand it back to Jenna.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much, Roxana. This information has been very helpful. Yeah, since there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and conclude here. I do want to reiterate that we have 3 more sessions happening this year and more to come from there. But next in our lineup is taking a deep dive into calling and meeting features. We also have a session on top favorite integrations, as well as how to become a power user. So please visit pcatg.com/events to sign up for the next sessions. I've dropped the link in the chat. And if you have any questions about your Microsoft tools, you can also reach out to PCA directly. We also encourage you to visit our LinkedIn, where we provide helpful hints, details for upcoming events, and free resources. So keep a lookout for the recording from today's session and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks again to everyone who attended, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Jenna. Bye. And it's a wrap.
Awesome. Great job.
Feedback.